It's a competition clinching shot. Whoa! How about that?
The LET Golf Podcast, the official podcast of the Ladies European Tour.
Welcome back to the LET Golf Podcast with me, George Cooper, Nicola Kenton, and this week's guest, we have one and only Nicole Broch Estrup. Nicole, how are you doing?
I'm all good, all good. The weather is beautiful outside today in Denmark, so get to go out and practice in the sun later.
Yeah, can't complain. And I know you've just been on your honeymoon. How was that?
Yeah, that was unreal, to be honest. I mean, I've never been on a holiday, and then when those events, we were supposed to play in Thailand, and then when they got pushed until October, and I saw that Kasper had a break in his schedule with Nicholas and the DP Tour as well, I was like, we are going on a holiday. And yeah, so we went all in and went 8 days to the Maldives, which was, yeah, amazing.
Yeah, because it was a long time coming in the end, wasn't it? Because you got married in, 2021, was it?
Yeah, back in, so like a year and a half, almost 2 years later.
Yeah, but worth the wait in the end.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Where did you go? What did you get up to?
So we went to the Maldives, stayed on this little island that took 10 minutes to walk around. So not a whole lot to do, no golf clubs at all. We went to the gym a couple of times, but other than that, we just like the three main things we had to make sure we managed to do every day was like breakfast, lunch, and dinner before the buffet closed. So that was, I mean, it was just super nice to be completely off from everything. And yeah, I mean, we just went snorkeling, paddleboarding, kayaking, like being on the water, and yeah, it was just really nice.
Good stuff. And golf was completely off the cards, I presume.
Oh yes, yeah. I mean, it did cross my mind, like my swing thoughts a little bit now and then, but I was like, no, not now.
Right, what we do on the podcast is we like to sort of go back to the beginning, talk about your golfing journey, your highs and your lows, your journey to the LET. So we're gonna go right back, and I see that you started golf at the age of 9,
Mhm.
if that's correct. So just talk me
Yes.
through it. How'd you get into golf, and what are your early memories?
My dad got me into golf. He's played since he was, I don't know, probably a teenager. So he's the one that kind of took me into golf, and he was trying to get me in earlier than 9, but it just didn't catch me or caught me. But yeah, then when I was 9, something clicked, and from there it just kind of took on. I remember being on the driving range, like he would put a little like ball bucket out, and I would try and hit it, like chip it in with one hand, and then I would win an ice cream. That's a really good junior memory. And in the beginning, I was on this like practice team with some other girls, and not. I mean, I don't think any of them is playing golf anymore, but it was all about just having fun and not super serious. And then a couple of years later, I kind of moved away from them and moved on to practice with the guys. And yeah, at the age of 14, I think I got picked out for the national team in Denmark and have been a part of that system ever since. So it's been a long journey, and I guess I'm turning 30 in a month, so it's kind of crazy to think that I've been on the national team more than half of my life.
Absolutely, yeah. And how does it feel to represent Denmark?
It's cool. I mean, our system is really good. I did an Instagram post earlier this year where we went on a practice camp in Abu Dhabi, the whole national squad. So it's girls, boys, men's, women, and all the pros who have the time to attend. So we were 70 people, all gathered together, practicing together. It's just a very unique environment to be in. Obviously, I've been a part of it for a long time, and I'm one of the older ones now, but I mean, I can still learn from some of the young ones coming out who's, 13, 14 years old, and hopefully they learn a little bit of me. So yeah, it's been great, and I'm just really happy to still be a part of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned so you started at sort of 9. Were you around other sports, or was it always just like golf focused? Or was there a point maybe we had to pick between two sports? How did that work?
Yeah, I mean, I've always been that girl who played soccer in school with the boys and soccer with the boys from my road back home, and I've always been really sporty, and I love sports in general. And I played badminton until I was picked out for the national team. I think I might have played a year, like where I played badminton in the winter and golf in the summer, and then I kind of needed to practice golf in the winter as well, so I had to quit badminton. But now and then when I get to play, I still love it. So yeah, I kind of picked between them two, and I don't think I regret the choice that I made.
Yeah, it's a good choice. I see you always rooting for the national team as well when the football's on.
Yeah,
Definitely a proud Dane, aren't you?
yeah, definitely. I mean, I mean, yeah, I think being from such a small country than Denmark is, I mean, it's you just gotta support like whenever you can.
Yeah, for sure. And obviously representing Denmark in the ladies team championships, the European ladies team championships. You played in three of them. Like, just talk us through your memories of them and perhaps traveling at a young age, and maybe you have some cool stories from that.
Yeah, I mean, the European teams were, I mean, I wish we could still play them, honestly. I mean, they were just the best weeks of the year. I've been on some really good teams, and I mean, I kind of hate to talk about it too, because I've always been in the first flight, top eight after the stroke play, and then I've never won the quarterfinal. Like I've always been out after the first round, which is just super annoying. So I don't have any medals or anything. I remember my last one we played in England, and I was on the team, then Nana Madsen, Emily Pedersen, Daisy Nilsson, who played on the LET as well. Melene Krolbel, she's played on the Symmetra Tour for a couple of years, and then Caroline, who was a really good player as well. And we won the stroke play with like, I mean, I think like 30 shots to number two. Like we were dominating this, like, and we had a really good team. And then, I mean, everything can happen in match play, and we ended up losing to, I think, Austria or Belgium in the quarterfinals. And I was like, what just happened? But yeah, that's just golf. But I mean, yeah, the team championships was really good memories from those weeks. I mean, just being on a team playing for something bigger than yourself, and yeah, it was definitely some really good weeks there.
So then when you were finishing your amateur career, what was the point where you kind of knew that you wanted to be professional, that golf was a career that you wanted to take?
Maybe the late years on the junior national team, and then when like 17, 18, 19, I probably started to know that I was gonna go in that direction. And then I was thinking about going to college maybe for 1 or 2 years, but um I guess I just kind of felt ready to. Also, I like I'm a home person, so
Mhm.
I just I kind of felt that I needed to stay closer to my coach and my family. So yeah, in August 13, I turned pro, and I had played a couple of Access series before that as an amateur, where my points counted to the rankings anyway, and then I ended up winning the first two Let Access events I played, one in Finland and one in Norway. So I guess that was a really good start, and yeah, ended up finishing in that top five on the Access series to get my full card for the LET. So it was obviously a really good start for me. Very, I mean, not easy, but it kind of like I got my card easy-ish. So that was it.
When you won that first Access series, were you surprised that you'd won it, that you you just turned pro and then suddenly you were in the winner's circle?
I mean, it definitely came quick, but I don't know. I mean, I wish had some of that, had some of that confidence now that I had back then. But I kind of felt like I was good enough to like play on the Axis and maybe even on the European tour. I guess I was fearless back then.
Mhm.
I was in a playoff with two other. Patricia Sands was one of them. I was in a playoff that week in Finland, and I remember I was super nervous, but um, yeah, I mean, I came out on top, and it was it was overwhelming, but also I don't know, I kind of just believed in myself, I guess.
Yeah. And what was it like playing on the Access Series in terms of your transition, obviously, to then play on the LET, getting used to playing in professional tournaments and different places across Europe?
Yeah, it was really good. I back then I traveled with Daisy Nilsson, and she's a year younger than me, but we kind of grew up playing together and on the national team as well. So it was good to kind of learn to travel around and yeah, play competitive for a living. So yeah, it was. I mean, even though I only had like half a year as a pro there, it was really good. And I mean, obviously I won twice, and I remember one of the events in Spain where I missed the cut, and I was like, no, I'm not gonna get my card, blah blah blah, totally panicking. So yeah, definitely learned a lot from those. I don't know how many events I played as a pro, but I definitely learned a lot from those.
And then when you did come onto the LET the following year, what was that like playing in your first LET event?
I think my first one was in China actually. So I think we played China, Morocco, and the travel was just horrendous. I remember I was traveling with Melanie Jørgensen at that point, and we had, I think the layover in Amsterdam from China to Morocco was like 10 hours. I mean, just welcome to the pro life. So yeah, there was some long travels in the beginning, but my rookie year was decent. I mean, I had some good finishes and I got some good experience in. Everyone on the LAT was just super welcoming, and I felt comfortable pretty much right away. So yeah, it was a good transition, and I remember I battled it out for the Rookie of the Year with Amy Bolden at that time. She had a really good rookie year as well. So yeah, it was good fun, and now a long time ago.
And in terms of obviously when you join the LET, a lot of people say that obviously you know quite a few of the people on tour, you've seen them, you've played them in amateur a few years before, and then obviously you're all suddenly pro. Was that the same for you, kind of seeing people that maybe you hadn't seen in a couple of years?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there was a lot of people from like my age. I feel like I've always been like, I mean, I'm not the only one from 93, but I feel like a lot of the girls that I played amateur golf with were from 94 and 95. But so they might have come out like a year or two later. But there was still some familiar faces out there. And then, yeah, so it was really comfortable coming out there. But also, I mean, there's always like Laura Davis, Gladys was there, like some of the big names that you would have like seen and heard about, and then suddenly you're like right next to them. That was kind of, I mean, not scary, but it's definitely a new feeling and something that makes you even more nervous.
Yeah, for sure. And then moving on to 2015, which is kind of your breakthrough year on the tour. Talk me through how you were doing early in the season in 2015 and how you're feeling about your game.
Yeah, 15 was, I mean, it's probably still one of, if not the best year of my career. Year of my career so far. I just, I came out playing really well. I felt comfortable from what I did in 14, I guess. And I finished, I think, third in China, solo third, which was really huge for me. And that was my first week with Benji Brewer on the bag as well. We just started like I was gonna get myself a regular caddy and get a little bit more. I mean, not professional, but get a little bit more like a proper setup, I guess. So he was caddying for me in China there, and then we kind of just moved on from there. And yeah, I was playing really well, and then I think it all kicked off in Czech Republic, where I ended up finishing second, but I was like leading until the very few last holes, and I kind of messed it up myself. But that was good learning. But I felt so comfortable, and I really felt that I was ready to win. And from Czech Republic and probably 2 months going forward, that's the best golf I've ever played and still have for that long of a period. So yeah, I just felt really comfortable, and I was it it kind of felt easy. Like my swing thought, I still remember, like my only swing thought was swinging it left. Just yeah, an easy thought, and yeah, it kind of worked out, and I played really well over that summer, which was really nice.
Yeah, and obviously got the win in Helsingborg, which
Mm-hmm.
isn't too far away from Denmark. It's at the bottom of Sweden.
No.
Talk me through your memories of that week.
Yeah, I mean, obviously really good memories. Yeah, as I said, I remember I came from, so I played the British, where I finished, I think I finished off bad to finish just outside top 10. And then I remember Emily's coach, Peter Thompson, back then, he was like, "You're gonna win soon on the LAT." And then I finished second in Czech Republic. I think that might have been the week after the British, actually. And then there was a week off, and then I played an Access Series in Sweden where I played half decent, and then maybe one more week off, and then it was Sweden. And I was just, I don't know, my coach and I still talked about it. It was just like my mentality going into that week was like, I'm gonna win this week. Like there was no doubt. I was just so ready for it. And I, yeah, just played so well. I was not nervous. I was not thinking ahead of myself. I was just in it, and I had family and friends coming over, and it was just a really good week until the back nine on that Sunday. I think I was leading with like 6 or 7 with 9 holes to go, and then I hit, this must have been on 13 or 14 maybe, I hit it in the water off the tee to the right, and I remember I just started panicking. Like from there, the last 4 or 5 holes, it was all about not hitting bad shots, where in the previous like 3.5 round, it was all about just hitting good shots. Like I was so comfortable just in it, and then suddenly I was just protecting everything and not trying and screw up. And I remember on that 18 hole, I think, I was leading by 2, and then hit it in the greenside bunker to the right. And Ashley Buhai, who was the one 2 behind me, she hit it in the bunker as well. And obviously, as everyone knows, she's an unreal bunker player. So I hit my bunker shot first to like 3 meters maybe, and she hit this bunker shot, and it just, it was going right at the hole, and it just kept rolling. And I remember this, I was like, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. And it stopped like a foot short of the hole, like right in the middle. And I was like, whew. And then I could 2-putt for the win. So yeah, it definitely got more exciting than it looked like it was going to be, but obviously good. I mean, it was just a good experience, and I learned from that. And yeah, it was very emotional, and having my friends and family around, because it's the closest we get to play at home since we don't have an LAT in Denmark. So yeah, really good week, and yeah, I really hope to get that winner feeling again this year.
I was going to say, had many people driven up and got the train, because it's very easy to get here.
Yeah, I
from
mean,
Denmark.
it's just like a 20-minute ferry. I think from my apartment at home to Helsingborg, like to Vasatop where we played, is like an hour and a half, and it's going to be the same this year. So hopefully, a few people will come out and watch.
Yeah, for sure. And as you said, it was kind of your best year to date, and you ended up being voted Player of the Year also at the end of the year. What's that award like? Because obviously your colleagues have voted for you themselves, and how does that make you feel?
That was yeah, that was very special, because I think the previous couple of years, the person or the girl who won the Order of Merit was just, I mean, kind of automatically voted Player of the Year. So it was one of the first years where it was not the winner of the Order of Merit. I think I finished 3rd that year. So that was, yeah, super special, and I'm still super proud of like that award. Because to me it means that it's not only the golf that matters. I mean, I I hope I'm like reading this right, but it kind of tells me that people likes me for more than my golf, which is huge. I mean, and a big thing for me, and something that I'm always trying to, yeah, to strive through. So yeah, really yeah, still proud of that, and I'm still looking at the trophy sometimes.
Yeah, I can imagine. Where do you have it in your house?
It's in our extra room, but sometimes it comes out, and I have a little chat with it.
Absolutely. And now, a common theme on this podcast is the Olympics, because you've had so many of our LET stars have played in it. You were there in 2016 in Rio. Just talk us through your memories of being there and how cool an experience it was.
Yeah, really cool. I remember like my first memory of that was we just got there and we get into the elevator in our building in the team village. And some of the handball players. Handball is really big in Denmark, and obviously the guys have won the world championship three times in a row now. So, but yeah, I remember getting into the elevator, and then two of these like huge guys are there, and they're like, "Oh, hi, how are you doing?" And I'm like, "Hi," like super nervous, and it's some of the people that you only see on TV, and suddenly they were there, and we were cheering for each other. I would come back from the golf round, and they would be like, "Oh, how's your day?" And just yeah, kind of again like being a part of. I mean, obviously we were competing individually, but just being a part of that, like a bigger team, was just a really good experience and something that I will, yeah, be proud of forever, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, so you got to go see plenty of sports while you were there, or?
Yeah, I mean, not a whole lot, but so my cousin was there playing badminton as well. She's still playing. Lydia Ko is her name. So she was there. So obviously I went to see her a little bit, and then we went to that handball final where the guys ended up winning and beating France in the final, which was, I mean, the atmosphere was just unreal. And the party the last day got even better because of them winning. So yeah, really good memories. And yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'm gonna go back in 24, but it could be super fun to go even closer to Denmark, and some people from home might be able to go as well.
Absolutely, yeah. Good motivation for you, I guess. And had you
Yeah.
been to Brazil before at all? It's somewhere I really want to go, but it looks amazing out there.
No, I'd never been there, and I mean, the golf course was, I think, half an hour, 45 minutes away from the village, so we didn't really have the time to go out and sightsee a whole lot, unfortunately. But my dad and my older brother was there as well, so I got to show them around the team village and kind of share the experience with them as well. So yeah, a really good week, and I have like a picture, a wall with like pictures in my hallway where I have some Olympic pictures up there as well.
Good stuff. And from there, a year later, you end up going over to America and playing there. You played on the Epsom Tour. You won on the Epsom Tour. Talk us through that transition, your differences from the LET, moving to America, a new challenge. How was that for you?
Yeah, so did I play Q School in 15, I think. I gave it a go and
Yeah,
I missed out. And then, yeah, I played a couple Epsons in 16, but I lost in a playoff in one, and then played maybe two more. And then I actually just played that final. It was supposed to be the week before, it was the week before a second stage that I was meant to play. And I ended up winning that final and qualify straight to the final stage. So yeah, I mean, obviously a really nice bonus. And yeah, it's the last time I won an event. I stayed with Helen Alfredson that week in Orlando, and she was kind of like mentoring me that week, and we had really good fun. And she just gave me some good tips and some stuff that I'm still sometimes trying to remind myself of. She told me about this story at Evian where she ended up winning before it was a major, but she was on 18 and she had like a 4 iron in, and she was so nervous that she wanted to lay up, and her caddy was like, "It's a fucking 4 iron, just hit it." Like, and just kind of that thought of, it's like, just go with it. Like, you're good enough to hit a 4 iron or whatever it can be. Like, instead of being afraid of, messing up, just go for it. yeah, that I'm trying to tell myself that sentence sometimes. But yeah, having her there, and she actually offered to caddy, but I was like, nah, I'm good on my own. But she came out to watch, I think, almost the whole final round, and it was just, yeah, super nice to have her around and stay with her for a couple of weeks there.
And was it difficult at all? I mean, you'd come obviously off the back of Player of the Year on the LET, and you'd won there. You know, going to the LPGA. How did you find it? And mentally, perhaps, how did you find it? And with the challenges that came with it.
Again, I mean, I don't know if, I mean, just coming out as a new, like my rookie year on the LPGA was, I mean, it wasn't great, but I was playing okay, and then I think I finished third in Canada. In that must have been in like August or September, which kind of kicked it off, and then I qualified for Asia. So yeah, I mean, again, I guess I mean, I was not completely fearless, but I just had confidence in myself that I was good enough to play out on the LPGA. Um, so I think the reality hit me. I think the second year where I was, what is it? Yeah, I think it was the second year I was out there where I was battling to keep my card. So it was the first year was not too bad, but then I guess you kind of know what's going on, and I started to think about everything, and then yeah, the second year was like I don't know, the reality kind of hit me, and I started to think about all how good these girls are, and instead of just play golf. But yeah, it's, I mean, I've loved my time in on the LPGA and in the States. And I don't know if I am, and if I have the chance to go back one day, but no, I still, I mean, I had a good time, and I've had some good years. I've been really close to winning, and yeah, I don't know, I mean, some people say it's super different, and I mean, it is different from the LAT, but I think it's what you make it through. Like if you are open, and if you try to speak to people out there, and then it'll be all fine. Yeah, it's not that dangerous as some people say it is.
And you mentioned there a little bit of your mental side of the game, and you've spoken a lot, obviously, about anxiety and how your mental health has affected your game. When did you first kind of notice things that, you know, you were starting to get scared of playing golf, or it was affecting the way that you were doing things?
Right after I got married. No, it's obviously it's not because I got married. But in that, I mean, whenever I got back from, yeah, that little break, and in that fall of 21, I just couldn't make a cut on the LPGA, and it started to stress me out. And the more I stressed out about it, I was playing to make the cut instead of playing to like finish top 10 or play good golf. Where the first half of the year I didn't miss a cut. I played super solid. I did not have any like top 10s or anything, but I just played super solid. I was not even worrying about the cut, and suddenly that was just reality. Like I was all focused on that. But the first time it hit me was actually the week before, or the last event I played before we got married. So that might have, I think it was, well, it was KPMG end of June, I think, or middle of June in 21, where in the first round I played so bad, I think I shot 80 or something. And then the second round I started out with, I think, a double, but then made 4 birdies in a row. And after those 4 birdies in a row, I just started shaking. Like physically, my body and hands was just shaking, which was so uncomfortable, and something I hadn't experienced before that way. Um, so that was like the first time it hit me, but I didn't. I guess I didn't really think about it too much that back then. But then, yeah, in the fall, those like last 4 or 5 events on the LPGA in 21 was just brutal mentally. Like I would wake up one day and I just didn't want to go to the golf course. Like the 5 hours or the 4.5, 5 hours on the golf course was the worst of the day for me. Like outside the course and outside, yeah, outside golf, I was doing okay. Like I would still go out for dinners with Kasper. Kasper was there, but also like with friends, and still do like socializing things. But yeah, being on the golf course was just not fun for me. Like I was, yeah, scared of making mistakes, and yeah, it just kind of got really stressful to be on the golf course.
And when was the point where you kind of thought, okay, I might need to do something about this? Like, obviously, golf is your career, and if you can't go out on the golf course, was that something that you thought about?
Yeah, definitely at some point that fall. I mean, to begin with, I guess I think I just tried to push it away a little bit and didn't like take it too seriously. But then I had some talks with my mental coach, and he was like, Nicole, you like, it's not just something like, it's like stress. And I was stressed. I mean, it would hit me like on the golf course and starting to hit me outside the golf course as well. So it was not only something that I had to deal with when I was playing golf. It was also like I could get like a minor panic attack at home. So I guess, yeah, I can't remember exactly when, but at some point that fall, it kind of like, he kind of told me, Nicole, this is like serious. Like we need to get you through the rest of the year. And then I started to see a psychologist in the beginning of last year, so 22. And I guess that's where I think I started to speak out about it in the end of 21 as well. But yeah, definitely beginning of last year was kind of a turnaround point for me. Where I was like, okay, I need to kind of slow down a bit, and obviously I wanted to play a whole lot, and I wanted to I lost my full card in the LPGA in 21, and I wanted to get it back. So I mean, so much, but yeah, I got into a couple of events on the LPGA in the beginning of last year, and it was like playing with a knife, like right in my chest. Like it was so uncomfortable, and I knew that if I could make a cut, I could get reshuffled and maybe get into the rest of the year. But looking back, I'm happy I didn't make a cut and kind of pulled the plug from the LPGA and got back to the LET. Where I just from the first event I played on the LET, I felt like I could breathe a lot better. So yeah, I mean, it's not it's not the LPGA that's, making me feel like that, but I just didn't feel like I was good enough to be out there, which is just super strange to think about, because it's a place where I almost won in 19. So it's yeah, I don't know. Golf is a strange game, and I guess this can happen in every sport, but yeah, the mental side is just, yeah, sometimes get a little crazy.
And then, as you say, you came back to the LET where you are comfortable, but also was the fact that you're kind of close to home and you had like more of a support system maybe over here. Was that also helpful for you?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously I'd been on the LPGA for 4 years, so I mean, it's not that I didn't know people out there, but I guess the big difference between the LPGA and the LAT is that on the LAT, people kind of need each other. Like not everyone has someone to travel with every week, like a family member or a friend. So I guess we use each other a lot more on the LAT than on the LPGA, where I mean, people do care about each other and they do help each other out, but it's a little bit more individually out there. So yeah, just coming back to the LAT, and I quickly ended up talking to Becky Brewerton and Megan McLaren, and we ended up staying with them for a couple of weeks as well. And obviously Becky has been through yeah, something similar, probably a little bit worse than I had. But just talking to someone who could, or who had been through it as well, and sharing what we've been through was just huge for me. And yeah, just a lot of good people on the LAT, like the staff, the players. It's just yeah, it's been a really good move for me to go back to the LET. As I said, like I feel like I can breathe a lot better there, and yeah, it's just easier to breathe and be out there.
And I'm just going to reflect on some of the places we've had chats over the past year. So obviously starting with Czech last year, where you got yourself into the position kind of at the top of the leaderboard, but I know you were very scared, very uncomfortable, very anxious that week. How did you, and obviously didn't end up winning, but still obviously got a good result. What was that week like for you? Because I know you were trying to put yourself in that position, but you weren't necessarily comfortable with it at that point.
No, exactly. I mean, that week was it was a really big step for me, because I put myself in that position that I wanted to be in, but at that point I mean, I got there, but I didn't want to be there. Like, I know it probably sounds crazy, but yeah, I just felt so uncomfortable, and I was not like, I wanted to run away almost. But I got through it with, I mean, big help from Kasper, and a lot of chatting to my coaches back home. Also before, like leading up to that week, and but also throughout the week. But yeah, I remember. Yeah, I still remember 18 where I hit a really good drive and I had a 6-iron in, and I was just so scared of hitting this 6-iron. I mean, it's into a par 5, and oh my God, I like the following weeks, I was thinking about this 6-iron so much. Like, I really wanted to go back and hit it, because I was so scared, and I was not trying to hit a good shot. Like, I was not trying to hit it on the green. I was just trying to almost just make contact. And then I had a pretty easy chip after that, after missing the green. And again, like, I was not trying to hit it close. It was just, it, I don't know if it went fast, but because I felt like I took my time, and I didn't rush anything, but I was just not really in it because I was so uncomfortable. So yeah, it was a really good week and a really good learning week, but also yeah, the second time I finished second in Czech Republic, I guess.
Yeah. And then fast forward a few months to Ireland, where it's obviously a different scenario. You done well at the start and then kind of leveled out, and then obviously well again at the end. Talk me through that, because you've mentioned obviously playoffs before, and just the scenario of again putting yourself in that position where 3 months later from Czech Republic. So how much work had you done into kind of trying to make yourself feel a bit more comfortable in that scenario?
Yeah, I mean, Ireland was just completely different week. I played in France the week before, and obviously I had played events in between as well. I remember the Monday qualifier for the British was probably my best round last year, where I started out with a bogey after chunking a full wedge shot, and then I ended up shooting 5 under, and I just played so well, and I felt so comfortable. And I hadn't had that feeling for a long time, so I had good rounds, like here and there, between Czech Republic and Ireland. And in France, I was in the, I think, second to last group as well, but I didn't play great on this Sunday. But yeah, then in Ireland, I was up there again, and I mean, mm, again, a lot of talking with my coach Anas back home throughout the week, and what was important, and I was just really trying to be aware of what was happening inside me, and where my thoughts was going. And those last 3 or 4 holes, the last 3 holes, I'm gonna say, I was in a state of mind that I had not been in for, I mean, a lot of years. I was not even recognizing that I made birdie on, I mean, obviously I knew, but I was not thinking about the fact that I made birdie on 16 and 17 to put myself in a position where if I had birdie at 18, I would have won. I was just so much in each shot, which was, looking back, it was such a good feeling, and something that I had tried to, like, achieve almost getting that like flow and state of mind for such a long time, and suddenly it just kind of happened. The funny thing is that on 15, which is a short par 4 in Ireland, I hit a forehand off the tee, and I pulled it a little bit left, and down that tee box I panicked so hard. Like I thought I had hit it into high rough, and I was like to Kasper, I was like, oh my god, why are we doing this? Like, what a bad decision. Like, we're throwing it all away, blah blah blah. And I was like panicking big time. And then I ended up chipping in, not a great chip, into like, I don't know, 30 feet, and then I made that for birdie. And yeah, those like last couple holes was just a really good experience. And in the playoff, I mean, I know I didn't come out on top, but I was just so proud of myself for the way that I did everything in that playoff. Like, I was not, as in Czech Republic, where I was so scared on the last hole, in Ireland I was not scared of anything. Like, I really just tried my best. And yeah, I did not hit a great approach shot with my 5-iron into the green, but I mean, I tried. Like, I was not scared of hitting it right in the water or whatever. I was just putting a swing on it, which was a really good feeling and something that I really took away from that week.
Mm-hmm. And then fast forwarding another 5 months to kind of South Africa this year, and again putting yourself up there in Joburg, also having a good result in Cape Town. But in Joburg, obviously, you said to us after the second, third round, kind of, you're ready. You feel like you're now in a place where, you know, you want to get back in that winner's circle. Whereas last year you were scared about it. This year, no. You feel like you're in the right place. Kind of, what did you just continue to work on what you've been working on, and now kind of you feel as if it's the time to get back to that place again?
Yeah, I mean, I mean, I've done a lot of like chatting with my coaches and my mental coach over the off season as well, and I think just I mean, in Ireland I was there, and I was still a little scared of like that winning thing. But in Joburg I was just nervous in a different way. Like, the night before the final round, I was not thinking about messing up and not winning. I was like seeing myself winning. I was seeing myself playing well, which was a different approach that hit me there. Obviously I didn't ended up winning, and I was nervous in the final round, and I kind of panicked a little bit on like 5, 6, 7, 8. But again, big help from Kasper kind of got me back back on the track, and I played some solid golf coming in to finish fourth, and I still had some chances for birdies coming in. But yeah, a different approach. And on the flight back from the Maldives last week, I was like, I can really see myself winning again, and I really want to win, which is like something that I've only hoped I would get back to that mindset.
And then finally, you've mentioned Kasper a lot, but yeah, just talk us through kind of what he does on the golf course. I know he notices when you start to feel a little bit nervous or anxious, and what does he start doing?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we've been together for a lot of years, and yeah, he's caddied for me. He's not caddying for me full time anymore, but he did caddy like 2 years full time. And in the beginning, it was super rough for him as well. Like, he didn't know what to do. Like, he really wanted to help, and whenever he tried to help, I was just got more angry at him. I was like, just stop. And one thing that my psychologist told me in the beginning of last year was, Nicole, you have to tell him that he can't help you before you want the help. Like, I needed to help myself before he was able to help me. And I think that, like, when I was able to tell him that, coming from someone else who knew about all this, it was a big help for both of us. Like, he knew that there was nothing he could do really, other than, like, then we got a few things from my psychologist that he could do to kind of help me help myself. One thing was like putting a hand on my back just to let me know that he was there, kind of, but not saying anything, just put a hand on my back. That was one of the things. And then obviously just chit-chatting about everything else than golf, which then when he does that, I know that it's because I'm a little stressed out, because yeah, I can just, I can hear it in his voice when he's just trying to, get me out of that mindset. But yeah, he was a really big help. And I've said this to him as well, that if he hadn't caddied for me the last 2 years, I'm not sure I would still play golf. Because he's just, yeah, like having him there with me through this has just been obviously an opportunity for us to be together and do this together. But yeah, the work he's done as well has like got me to where I am. And to where I'm feeling ready for him to go out and help someone else now. And I feel ready to do it on my own. And I mean, obviously I'm not on my own, but like without him there. And that's really huge. And I'm super grateful that he gave up his work, and he was willing to kind of sacrifice a lot to help me through this.
I was going to say my final one. Yeah, how have you dealt with that this year? Obviously, he was on your bag at the start of the year, and then has gone off to DP World Tour, and then obviously you by yourself. But what's that been like, adjusting to that? But as you say, you're kind of ready for him to to go back to what he was doing.
Yeah, I mean, obviously a lot of talking. Whenever Nicholas, one of like the guy he's caddying for now on the DP Tour, when he called us in the end of last year, we were like, okay. But yeah, so lots of talking about it, and it was not easy talking about for neither me or Kasper, because we were happy with how things were. But yeah, I think him like doing this for me the last 2 years, and I could just feel that this was something that he really wanted to do. I was like, I cannot be in your way. And as I said, like I felt ready to be on my own, or more on my own. So yeah, I had a friend in Morocco and Saudi for the first 2 weeks, just to not be completely alone for the first two events. And then yeah, he was with me in Joburg, and then I had locals the next 2 weeks. And it's been okay. I mean, it's definitely different. And the first practice round in that would have been Cape Town, where he was there in Joburg, and then I got to Cape Town, played 9 holes practice round by myself, and I was completely stressed out when I got in from those 9 holes. I was like, oh my god, he's really doing a whole lot when we play practice rounds. Like, it's a lot of things that I have to. Not that I was not, paying attention to the course whenever we played, but it just kind of made me realize that he's done a lot more than just being there. But yeah, it's going all right. I mean, I've kind of learned my way. I mean, obviously I've done it before, but I think I'm just more aware of what I need to do, and I need to take good care of myself. Myself. Like I have to do some work myself, and I use my playing partners a lot more, I think. And just yeah, it's a new thing to find roomies as well. So yeah, in Singapore I stayed with Nicole Garcia, and it was just super good week, and yeah, get to share with a lot more girls, which is kind of nice too. But yeah, he's still gonna come out now and then. He's actually coming to Evian as well, which is nice. So yeah, he'll still be out now and then, but obviously not full time, and yeah, it'll be different, but it's all right.
Good stuff. Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. Like, who are you? I know you mentioned Becky earlier, Megan, Nicole just now, but who are like your real friends on tour?
I feel like I get along with a lot of people. Like obviously I stayed with Becky and Meg a couple times last year, and Lydia Hall stayed with the 4 of us stayed together in South Africa these 2 weeks. But I mean, there's just a lot of good a lot of good people on the LET. As of now, I think I'm gonna, yeah, Laura, Beveridge, and Kyle is like Keel. We're gonna stay with them in at the Scandinavian Mixed, and I have a couple houses with Becky, and Megan as well, planned. And in general, I just, yeah, get along with a lot of people out there, and I try to not be too much with. I've always done that. Not try and be too much with the same person or the same people all the time. Like, I think it's healthy for me to play practice rounds with different people. Obviously, I have my favorites. Everyone have that. But yeah, I think it's just good to surround yourself with different people. Like, you can learn a lot from different approaches as well. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know in Singapore you played your final round with number one Lydia Ko. It looked like you were having an absolute ball out there. Like, what was that like, and what did you learn from her that final round?
I mean, yeah, it's kind of a it's a funny story. I mean, on the so yeah, I was playing with Lydia, and I was not really scared of that because I know Lutz from the LPGA, obviously, and I know that she's a really nice girl, and we chit chat now and then. But I got to the course, and in my warm up, and before the first tee, I just got like super nervous. I was texting my coach and Kasper, and I was like, "This is not good." And I got to the first tee, and that's the worst I've, like, even when I felt my worst in 21 and 22, this was like the worst I felt on the first tee. Like, I could not feel my hands, like anything. Which was kind of shocking. Like, I think the fact that there was a lot of people obviously watching Lydia, like that that thought had just not crossed my mind. Like, I don't know where I've been, but I was just not I was not prepared of having people watching me play golf, I think. And it was horrible. Like, I just really I didn't really know what to do on that first tee. I was so scared and so nervous. I managed to hit this big hook into the fairway, luckily, and then um like walking up the first, it got better, and then I got to the second tee, and which is not a tee shot that I really like. It's a little left to right wind, bunker to the left, water to the right, and for some reason I got to the tee and I just felt so comfortable hitting the tee shot. So, like, two completely opposite feelings on the first and the second hole. Yeah, which was really weird, but I mean, yeah, playing with Lydia was great. She, I mean, looking from, and I think she will say the same. Like, she was not playing like solid golf. She was not playing like super well, but I mean, she was putting unbelievable. I don't know if she had 9 putts on the front nine or something. Like, she putted unreal, but she's just a super good human. She's just humble and nice, and just, yeah, make golf looks easy. But without trying too hard, I guess, which was or is something that I maybe took away from playing with her. So yeah, just kind of try and take one shot at a time, and I know that's what everyone says, but I think she was just trying to, she's just trying to hit the golf ball or the golf shot as good as she can, and then see where it ends up.
You mentioned spending time with your family. Obviously, you're a home person, so love to be at home. What do you get up to when you're not out on the golf course and not on your
Mm,
honeymoon?
yeah. Um, I mean, usually the first thing I do whenever I got home is to get up and spend time with my niece and nephew. They just don't care about golf. They don't. I mean, they probably know whenever. I mean, at least my niece on 9, she maybe know whenever I do good or bad, but it's not really. We don't really talk about golf, like, and it's just, yeah. I just love being with them. So that's my first priority whenever I get home, and then, yeah, just do things outside golf. Like, yesterday, I went to like paint on do you call it ceramic or something? Like,
Ceramic painting, yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
just to like do something else, take my mind away from golf and the everyday life that goes on. yeah, I mean, it's probably what everyone says, but like spend time with family and friends is really it's really what I do. Just yeah, have a good time and make sure I catch up with everyone. And I'm actually gonna go to a couple of concerts this year, just because I guess like our trip and like first ever holiday as well, kind of gave me a little bit of perspective of like golf is important to me, but it's not everything. Like I need to prioritize things outside golf as well that makes me happy. Because I know that, I mean, maybe 2 hours spent with my friends or with my niece and nephew, versus 2 hours spent on a range. I mean, it might be the same, but sometimes in yeah, I mean, some weeks it might be better to spend time with my niece and nephew just because of the mental health kind of thing.
Yeah, it recharges you a bit more than being on the golf course. Which concerts are you going to? Do we know these people?
No, it's a Danish guy next weekend, and then yeah, it's obviously it's actually only Danish bands and singers. But yeah, just I think it's just very important for me to do those things. And as I'm getting older as well, I think yeah, the perspective and yeah, the prioritizing is getting a little bit different as well.
And a random one, but Nicole, you always look great on the golf course in what you're wearing, your outfits. How much do you think a lot about the outfits that you wear or what you put together when you go out on the golf course? Or is it something that you've always just done?
No, I do think about it. I mean, the JL stuff is just really cool. I love that brand. And I just think they make really good colors, and they go out there a little bit sometimes, but I don't mind that. I mean, I'm not going all out that. I mean, they have other clothing that is more out there than what I'm wearing, but yeah, I do like good outfits on the golf course.
Yeah, for sure. And finally, in terms of golf, before George gives you his really hard quiz, which actually I think you might do okay on. I feel like you've answered many of the questions already. Your goals for the year. So, um, how you set goals. Obviously, we spoke in South Africa that you're not necessarily thinking about the result. It's more how you feel on the golf course. Is that continuing with your goals that you set for the year, or do you still want, for example, to get that win?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm getting closer to that goal that I set myself whenever I kind of realized that this mental thing was somewhere where it was not very healthy. So I'm getting closer to the point where I'm like enjoying playing golf again, and um being okay with being in the final group or playing for the win, and want to win again. So that's a huge step. Still a lot of work to do. But yeah, that's definitely my main goal, to see myself win again. And then obviously another thing is to do it. I would really love to win, at least, or I mean, once would be good enough, but if I could win a couple this year, that would be amazing. And then yeah, if I could get into a couple majors and just put myself maybe in the top 10 on the order merit would be nice. I mean, yeah, the I mean, the golf goals I think has come a little bit more in the background to me after going through all this, but um it's still what matters, kind of, for me and to the outside world as well. So obviously, it would be nice to get a couple of trophies next to that Helsingborg one. That's very lonely right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And any goals just in life in general away from golf? I know you've finally done your honeymoon now, so that's ticked off. But
Yes. um, I mean, this year, I think just kind of see where I end up. I'm turning 30, 14th of May. So, and I've always said that whenever I turn 30, I would want kids, but I'm not there yet. But yeah, I mean, in a couple of years, maybe we would like to try and see if we can have some mini Broch Estrups. But yeah, I mean, nothing completely planned or anything right now. But in the near future, we would like to start a family. But I think it's just super hard, like being a woman playing golf, because I mean, there is a couple of girls that has had kids and come back and played on the LAT, but it's not easy. So I don't know. I'm kind of seeing where I end up this year, if I end up with some better status on the LPGA, or if I'm still just, I mean, not just, but if I'm full-time LAT, or what's gonna happen. And yeah, just not trying to plan everything that I might have tend to do in the early of my career. So yeah, just kind of go with the flow and see where I end up, really.
Lovely stuff. Well, we look forward to seeing how you get on this year, and then we'll be following with close attention. So, right, quick quiz to wrap things up, as we always do on the podcast. But as Nicola said, you probably answered like half of them, I reckon. So if you're getting them wrong
Yeah,
now,
I
then
think
there's
you
no
have.
excuse. But we'll start off with the ones I know you've definitely answered. So when you won in Helsingborg 2015, who was runner up?
Ashley Buhai.
Yes. What is your lowest ever round on the LET?
7 under?
I've got 64.
6.
Can you remember which tournament, which round, which year?
64. Oh my god.
You've spoken about this tournament a lot.
Czech
so-
Republic. Was it
Yeah.
7 under or 6 under? 8 under.
7 or 8.
7.
If it's a 64, I should have done my research,
Okay.
but at least 7 under, right?
I will just check that.
I think it
Have a
might
look.
be
But
7
yeah,
under.
round 1, 2015. So it's a good one. That's a curveball for usually a lot of players. They don't know the best ever round. I would have it. I don't know. That's because I'm never shooting very well. But I would have it known.
Well,
Not
I've shot
to-
8 under on the LPGA in Hawaii. I can tell you that.
Nice.
And then I had a 10 under on the practice camp this year. So I know my lowest round.
Is that your best?
Nicole's correct.
Yeah,
it was
I
7
didn't
under.
think I shot 8 under on the LET.
So 10 under is your best ever?
Yeah.
Awesome. Nice. Who was the first Danish player to win on the LET?
Oh, it has to be Eben Tinning.
Yes. You have a guess at what year, maybe?
Oh, no idea. But I know she won her last ever event in Dubai in 11 or 12, maybe.
Good knowledge. Yeah. But her first win was 2002, the Irish Open. So I'll give you bonus points for knowing that it was her last ever event she won as well. Stuff. When you won the Ladies Norwegian Challenge on Access, do you know how many shots you won by?
It was not too tight. Maybe 3 or 4.
4 shots, yeah.
Oh.
Smashed it. And the final one, this is like my favourite question that I asked to everyone who's played in the Olympics. So when you were there in 2016 in Brazil, I know you've got one, you have to get one of these, but Denmark won 2 gold medals. Can you tell me which events?
Yeah, and handball, obviously. The men's handball. And
Yeah.
then Pernille Blume won in the 50 meters swimming.
Very good, yeah. 50 meters freestyle. I'd have just given you swimming, but smashed it. There we go. I think you might be one of the...
But actually in 16 we had the most medals ever for Denmark. 14, I think.
Smashed it. There we go. That's definitely bonus points, Nicole. Very well done.
Little bonus info.
Good stuff. Wow, can you believe it? We've been chatting for way over an hour. It flies by, doesn't it?
Sorry. Just chatting away.
No, it's good stuff. It's been really interesting to hear about your career for sure, Nicole. So good stuff. Right.
I mean, whenever Adam texted me that we were chatting about my career, I was like, oh dear, it's been almost 10 years. And yeah, I was going through it all as well. I was like, wow, where did that time go?
Yeah, 10-year anniversary now.
Holy moly. Yeah, holy moly. It's been a roller coaster. Safe to say.
Yeah. Well, let's hope you top it off with a win this year. That'd be good stuff.
Yes.
Perfect. Well, thank you again, Nicole, for joining us. It's been really great having you on, and we appreciate your time.
Of course.
Good stuff. And yeah,
Always.
always. That's it. And everyone at home, thanks for listening as always. You know the drill. Give us a follow on socials at LET Golf. And yeah, subscribe and we'll do all that lovely stuff. And we'll see you next week. Perfect. Thank you, guys.
It's a competition clinching shot. Whoa! How about that?
The LET Golf Podcast, the official podcast of the Ladies European Tour.